All right, everybody, welcome to Bucks Live. Holy cow, what an interesting day we are about to have. Get ready. We got a lot to talk about.
Get ready.
Get ready. It's time for Bucs Live.
Bucs Live.
Bucs Live.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers talk with Rick Hughes and David Whitescarver.
This is
Bucs Live.
Let's Go.
Let's go.
Wow. There's a lot to talk about. So much happened. Today was a big day for the Buccaneers. All right. Let's start to unravel the events of the day. And there are a lot. It's kind of exciting. There's a lot to unravel. First of all, we all know Leonard Fournette gone. We all know Donovan Smith gone. We all know Cam Brate gone. Well, the Bucs renegotiated contracts with Carlton Davis, and the whole idea is several players renegotiated their contracts today. Vita Vea, and the Bucs are under the cap. The Buccaneers are already under the cap. Now, there are some things that the Buccaneers can do, and I'm just going to say this about as straight as I know how to say this, guys. I'm just going to tell you straight up. Guys, Lamar Jackson's not out of the question. He's not out of the question. I still don't think that the Buccaneers are going to do that. Do I think they should? Look, all of a sudden, like I said, it doesn't seem like a ridiculous thing. It's quite possible. This could happen. Likely, probably not. Possibly, for sure. It's not going to take a miracle anymore. So let's wait and see what happens. But it's very cool, very exciting. At the very least, you're looking at being able to re-sign some free agents that maybe we all thought weren't going to be able to re-sign. All of a sudden, that doesn't seem so ridiculous. Look at my hair. Jimmy G, you re-sign Levante David, maybe Jamel Dean. I don't know. But this doesn't seem ridiculous. Now, if you cut Ryan Succop and you cut Devin White, you've opened just between those two another $16 million in cap space. This season, this offseason looks a lot better than it did 24 hours ago. I mean, 24 hours ago, things looked bad. Things looked rough. Here you go 24 hours later, and wow, everything's different. So in answer to your question, BSG, how do I feel? Feeling pretty darn good. I'm feeling pretty darn good. All right, so my name is Rick Hughes. I'm here with Bucs Live. You can find all of our links and everything if you go to www.bucs.live. There you can see us where we are. You can watch us on Facebook. You can watch us on Twitter. You can watch us on YouTube. And we're also on all of the Bucs Report links, all there, Twitter, YouTube. What's the gamer thing? I forgot the Twitch. We're on all those. We're all over the place. So thank you to Bucs Report for allowing us to be there. But there is, guys, the world opened up today for the Buccaneers with the restructuring of these contracts. And I think I don't know about you, but as a Buccaneers fan, I did not expect to be sitting here in this position. I did not. I did not expect to be sitting here and saying there's some crazy stuff that's not unreasonable anymore. Stuff that looked way off the plate, way out of the picture. It just doesn't seem like it's a crazy thought anymore. It really doesn't. So let's see what happens. And I want to be able to hear from you guys throughout the night. You can obviously join us in the chat section. I will probably post a link for you to come on. We'll see. But if you do come on, we're only going to have people on for, let's say, 10 minutes or so. Hopefully we'll have some guests coming by. We will see. We've put it out there. And yeah, we'll see. Maybe Slick will come by, maybe some other guys. Dazzling David Whitescarver will be here at some point between 8:30 and 9. He will be there for us, joining us with his thoughts and opinions. I will give you my thoughts and my opinions. And I will tell you this, guys. Tuesday night when we did our show, I sat here and quite honestly, I looked at it and said, all right, this year's a lost year. This is probably a lost season. 24 hours ago, I would have told you, look, we're going to have Kyle Trask. I'm not even sure the team believes in him. All of a sudden, guys, let's just say this. At the very least, Jimmy G coming in and Trask being the number 2, not the number 3 and completely not a part of this team. You bring in Jimmy G, Kyle Trask is number 2. You get to see what he can do. It's something we've always talked about. You get to see what he can do. And you have Jimmy G that can start. That's at the very least, that's the position that we're in. So that's kind of where we're at. Things got interesting. So even without, let's say it's Jimmy G, let's say it's Baker Mayfield. Listen, we're going to have enough cap space to re-sign folks that we didn't think we were going to be able to re-sign. Jamel Dean may not be off, completely out of the picture. Levante David certainly sounds possible or seems possible. All of a sudden, the plan with the offensive line looks good, and we got what is it? 8 draft picks, 9 draft picks, I believe, maybe 8. Guys, everything's different now. Everything's different in just 24 hours. The world kind of flipped for Buccaneers fans. And, last year, everything kind of went wrong. This year, as always, you've got to give props to the Buccaneers front office. The capologists and Jason Light, major props. They had a plan. I've been saying this. I've been saying, guys, they've got a plan. Let the plan unfold. We don't know what the plan is. And some folks are freaking out, flipping out, and they're like, no. This is, this is awful. This is terrible. Everything's gone wrong. I mean, I'm so sick of all the tweets and the Facebook things saying how disappointed they are in the organization for allowing Levante David to leave and goodbye to the, I saw one fan who went on saying he's done with the Buccaneers simply because Levante David said he was going to explore his options. Guys, he still may be Buccaneer. Everything's lining up better, I know, than I thought it was going to, and it seems to be lining up better in general. Now, let me say this to you folks. Carolina traded with the Chicago Bears to get the number 1 pick. What that does means Carolina is getting its quarterback. It could be Bryce Young. It could be C.J. Stroud. It could even be Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson would be sort of the second coming of Cam Newton in Carolina. There's a little bit of something that makes sense about that. The tickets, I'm sure, right now, I am certain that the the ticket line at the Panthers is going nuts. I'm certain that's the case. So I really, this is good news for the Buccaneers. It really is. It's good news because everybody is sitting there saying, or now we don't have to wonder, are they going to get a quarterback there? Or are they going to get one in free agency? They were part of the competition for the Bucs. Carolina was part of the competition for the Buccaneers when it comes to free agency, when it comes to quarterbacks. They are no longer the competition for the Buccaneers. They're done. They're out. They're drafting a quarterback. Carolina's got their man, whoever that is, whichever one that is. Carolina's got their man. Nobody can stop that. It's done. They've got one of the quarterbacks is going to Carolina. And they paid a healthy ransom for it. Now, here's my thought. Let's just talk through this, okay? If the Buccaneers had to give up, let's say a 1 and a 2. Or 2 ones. Have to give up 2 ones. They give up 2 ones. That basically is the equivalency of this year in the first round, they draft Lamar Jackson, okay? So if they go after Lamar, they have to give up 2 number ones. This year, you count the number 1 is you drafted Lamar in the first round. That's a pretty good draft pick in round 1. Now, we lose the first round draft pick next year. Now, maybe you guys aren't going to like hearing this. Maybe this is a thought that you're going to be uncomfortable with and not like. Maybe this is not what you want to hear. But let's talk about this. If we traded Devin White, and you get a 1 or a 2 for Devin White, whatever. Probably 2, maybe a 1. You don't know. If you get that number 2 for Devin White, that means we basically just we drafted Lamar Jackson this year, and you move down from number 1 to number 2 next year, from round 1 to round 2 next year. Deal. And guys, quarterbacks are going to be signing for a lot less money. A lot more money coming up. Okay. $50 million quarterbacks are right around the corner. Okay. Right around the corner. It's coming. Get ready. Lamar Jackson, the compensation for what it would take to get Lamar Jackson, it's not unreasonable. Now I'm going to talk about the negatives, okay? Let's talk realistically about the negatives when it comes to Lamar Jackson. He has not finished the last 2 seasons. All right, he has not finished the last 2 seasons. On a positive note, he's won an MVP. He's only 26 years old. That's pretty reasonable. That's pretty good. That's pretty exciting. You look at that as that's worth it. All right. You start looking at that. We had Brady for 3 years. That was awesome. It was great. But at best, we knew we were going to have him for 3 years, right? Now you bring in a 26-year-old Lamar Jackson who has never had an offense remotely like what he would get if he came to Tampa. Think about this. Our offensive line is healthy. All right, Jensen under center. He also restructured, by the way. Jensen is the center. Okay, Jensen is center. Tristan Wirfs moves to left tackle, replaces Donovan Smith. All right, Luke Gedeke, who played well at right tackle, or you draft a right tackle. All right. We've still got Hainsey. We've still got guys. Our offensive line is going to be fine. We're going to be okay at O-line. All right. But if we were to trade Devin White and open that $11 million in cap space, we've got all these draft picks. We were in a situation of desperation not long ago. 24 hours ago, it looked desperate. I heard so many people say the words, the Buccaneers have to hit on their first 3 draft picks. Have to hit on the first 3 draft picks. If they don't hit on the first 3 draft picks, It's a disaster. All of a sudden, you're looking at the Bucs and going, all right, so now we have 8 picks. We need to hit on 3 of them. I'm pretty good with Jason Light's record on this, that we'll get 3 out of these guys. But now we have a little bit of money now to go after some free agents. Now I'm gonna tell you what I prefer, what I think is the best case scenario in my eyes. It doesn't mean y'all are gonna agree. Please get involved in chat and talk to me about it. But well, first, you know what? Before I get into what I think we need to do, let's bring on the man. Let's bring on the myth. Bring on the legend. How you doing, dude?
I'm here to announce that I have turned my 2023 salary into a signing bonus. Thereby, I myself have freed up $49.37 for the Buccaneers salary cap.
We can now re-sign the guy selling Cokes in section 313.
Well, I was thinking more like dollar menu for everybody. Wait, is that still a thing?
I don't know.
You can't buy nothing for $1. Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Everything changed, didn't it? Didn't everything change today?
I just want you Bucs fans to know, you can thank me, because every time I take a nap during this off season, something goes down.
You need to sleep more.
I'm like, hey, nothing's going on. I'm going to grab a quick 90 minutes, wake up. Leonard Fournette, gone. It's gone like that all the way. So we don't have an actual statistical, factual number, but guesstimations, I believe, as you said, are right. They're about 6 million under the cap, which technically makes the Buccaneers now bottoms. But that's another topic another day. The division's getting really weird, man. We got David Carr, respectable, unless John Barnes is on air, then he's horrible. We have, I'll say this, the Carolina Panthers were a threat for the division before today, based on their coaching staff alone, because I think they're going to improve.
I don't think this makes them a threat for this year. I think this makes them a threat for next year.
Well, if I and believe me, I've had way too many trips to the dispensary and the alcohol factory since the season ended. But weren't the Panthers kind of hinting at the playoffs last year, or sniffing around there near the end?
Only because we sucked. So well, yeah, I mean they were 6 and whatever. I mean, I think the record 5 and they were 5-12, 6 and 11. They weren't. No, not really. Not really. And let me tell you something. I honestly believe if we get a different quarterback, and I know this is sacrilege, and I know that everybody freaks out when you even hint at something like this, but if we had a different quarterback last year during the regular season, we would have had a better record.
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, regular season, I'm not sure, because I still believe that the NFL and all of its shortcomings, the regular season shows you exactly which each entire team is instead of just individual position or player. But that said, the playoff game and the playoff run leading up to the end of the regular season, absolutely, because when you've got a quarterback that stands right there on that X every time and can't move off that X, it makes calling defensive blitz packages, it makes everything easier for the defense, because, I got to go there. He's not moving. Brady isn't running.
No, he wouldn't even step up into the pocket. He literally wouldn't step into the pocket. He was so scared last year.
Well, and you know what? If I was his age doing that with those men, I wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
I want to something off topic here. Yeah, I'm looking here on StreamYard. It says I'm in the show. Aren't I technically on the show?
You're in the stream. You're in the stream.
I'm in the stream. That sounds like extreme if you say it fast. I'm gonna
or like a weird video that we don't want to get into, but
Two guys. Never mind.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if anybody else has brought this up about the Panthers because we've got to talk a little bit about them, right? I mean,
Mhm.
they've got some solid people. Although I do feel like them including DJ Moore in that package kind of hampers them. Tells me they're going to be picking wide receivers in this draft at number 9.
I just think if they're going to have a rookie quarterback, he's going to be a rookie for a year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess what I want to point out is the Falcons have pulled their name out a while back saying we're not interested in Lamar. We're riding with, is it DJ Ryder or Desmond Ryder or Lee? Is it Lee Ryder?
Ritter. Desmond Ritter.
I hardly know her. That's the point. So does this take them back in at least to hear a conversation about the Lamar or consideration? Because, I mean, the division's better quarterback-wise than it was 2 weeks ago.
24 hours ago.
Yeah, and I think the Saints now have the leg up as far as overall talent because of the Derek Carr factor.
Sort of. They still everybody keeps counting Alvin Kamara in that, and he's going to be suspended. So, yes, the Saints are they're not going to be an easy out. I definitely agree with you about that. But if the Buccaneers get Jimmy G or Lamar or even Baker Mayfield, I gotta say, I think the Buccaneers should be favored to win the division. That's not Homer talking.
If you can get a quarterback that can do roughly 3,500 yards in passing or more and the 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, the Buccaneers are the division champs. There's no doubt about that because of overall talent of the roster.
Yes.
The problem is a lot of the Bucs' talent, at least big name as we know it, resides on the offensive side of the ball. And if the guy dealing the ball sucks, well, you just eliminated half of your quality player's ability to perform correctly. That said, well, I'll say it's a lot easier to get an idea of what they're doing, even though this opens up more doors. I feel like I want to preface it by saying I don't think this means the Buccaneers are doing this to go after a Lamar Jackson or an Aaron Rodgers potentially. They had to move the cap money around anyway.
But I don't think we knew. I'm not sure they knew they were going to get in this position this fast.
Well, I mean, and I'm going to give a shout out to Greg Oman from Fox Sports. He wrote a breakdown of what it would take. This is a month or so back for the Buccaneers to get under that cap. And so far, as far as restructures, he's batting 1,000.
Yeah, Josh Capo from Pewter Report also. That's the first I saw.
Well, I would have said that, but I can't pronounce his last name. So
it's Capo, I believe.
And much love to the Pewter Report guys, but at what point do we just call it the Josh Report? Because how many Joshuas are there? There's like they should have a podcast called the Joshua Tree, and they break it and they go. But anyway, I trademarked that, Mr. J.C. Allen. Just so you know, you have to come through me for that. I like the fact that they did this the way they did it, because let's be honest, Leonard Fournette is not a guy who likes to play on a team that isn't contending. We've seen that he's a great player, but a little bit of a malcontent when it comes to that.
He didn't play much last year.
Right. And Cam Brate, I mean, thank you, sir. But, you got to get younger at some positions, and tight end is where they decide to go with that. So my point is we might not have seen like a Leonard Fournette or even a Cam Brate cutting, releasing, whatever coming, but we knew these contracts were going to be converted into upfront bonuses because, I mean, that's the first bullet in your arsenal when you're trying to cut cap spaces. Is convince the owner, hey, instead of paying $44 million spread over the next 6 months, can you pay it all now? And that's basically what they're doing. So we still got Shaq Barrett, and I believe his cap figure is upwards of 15 to 18 million.
Yep.
And then
by the way, it's not out of the question, by the way. Maybe I'm incorrect about this, but I mean, I'll go ahead and get into this while you're here. I was about to tell everybody what I think the Buccaneers should do. And I know Lamar Jackson is the the name dancing on everybody's lips right now. But I think you go after Jimmy G. I think you get Jimmy G, and then you put Trask behind him. You let him compete. You see that, then you have the chance to see what Trask can do. You give him a fair shot at it, and you have a lot of money then to play around with re-signing some of these guys. And I think that changes everything. I mean, the difference between Jimmy G, who would probably come in for $8 million, $10 million a year, versus Lamar at 40.
See, I agree to an extent that Jimmy G is going to end up with less money than people think. So what I will say is I don't think Jimmy G is going to take less money and not go to a bona fide contender, if that makes any sense.
But I think we become a bona fide contender. Listen, who's a bona fide contender? Who is a bona fide contender that doesn't have a quarterback?
To be honest with you, and people will say I'm full of crap, but they don't technically have one because they have two. The 49ers, the Seahawks solved their problem. So I'll say the 49ers. I don't think the Rams are as bad as people think. I think what happened was they got that year of Stafford, and then last year they got the real Stafford, and then everything went sideways.
Didn't they just cut like 7 players today? And
I don't know who they cut today, but I know they're also trying to trade, or they're allowing Stafford to seek trades. That came out yesterday.
I didn't hear that. Oh.
So I also think Detroit is one quarterback solid away from being the division champ in there. I mean,
I'm not as bad on Goff as some folks. He took LA to the Super Bowl. I get it. He's not Stafford. He's not whatever, but he really played well last year. The system fits him. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a weird situation because the two teams we're talking about were the ones that swap quarterbacks with the Rams and Lions. But we're looking at teams that have contending rosters but not a quarterback yet. And I have to. It's a very small list in my opinion because I don't think there's many teams that don't have a quarterback that aren't ready, except for the 49ers. I know they have Purdy and they have the other kid, but they haven't said who's who. And now Purdy's not going to be ready for another 3 months, it sounds like.
Right, but you said he wants to go to a contender. He's already on San Francisco, and they've already said...
No, I didn't say anything about any San Francisco quarterback wanting to go on a contender except for Jimmy G, who's not on San Francisco. He's a free agent.
Well, correct, but my point being he's there, and they've already said they're not interested in him.
They said that before the news came out that it was going to be longer for Purdy to come back. So all I'm saying is, let's preface all this by saying there's not one general manager or coach or anybody who's out there in the media right now telling the entire truth. With that said, rosters that need a quarterback that are similar to the Bucs, set. Well, I'll say this: are the Buccaneers really a Super Bowl roster with a good quarterback right now?
No, I don't. No, I don't think that the Buccaneers are a Super Bowl roster necessarily right now, even with a quarterback. Although it's a wild card. You throw Lamar Jackson into an offense that has the weapons that he'd have around him here. Wow, that just becomes a really interesting thing, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I still think you think Jimmy's going to make around 8 to 10. I still think it's closer to 12 to 15, depending on. It really depends on what happens with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Because if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, the Jets have to get somebody. They basically stuck Zach Wilson out in an igloo somewhere and said, "Go sleep with your mom's friends" or something. I don't see. I'll put it this way: you saw what the Panthers gave up to get the first overall pick, which is an unknown commodity, even though it's the first overall pick, right?
Right.
So people are always like, "Well, the Ravens put Lamar on the tag, so it's going to be this for a trade." No, that's the minimum that has to be included in the trade is the 2 first-round picks, right?
No. he signed. It's not really a trade. What happens is we make a deal with Lamar.
But I believe that depending on the designation of the franchise tag, it dictates how many draft picks have to be included in order for the team to move on. Two first rounders, right?
Right. So it's two first rounders.
So that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say, Bucs fans. If that's what it took to move up to number one for an unknown quantity for the Panthers today, it's going to take 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a solid player.
No, there's no negotiating after it. Here's what happens.
I do believe there is negotiation. So you're saying we can offer 2 picks and they have to trade it, so they would have to trade it to a division rival?
No, what I'm saying is that because they put the non-exclusive tag, the Buccaneers make an offer. All right. If Lamar says, yes, I agree to that offer, the Ravens would say yes or no, we will match that offer. If they don't match the offer,
wait, you're skipping a whole step here. If the Buccaneers offer 2 first-round picks to Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson says, I want to go there,
no, it's not what I said.
The Ravens have to accept the deal.
You negotiate with Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson accepts the deal that the Buccaneers offer him a contract,
I have to differ with you, bro, because they're not negotiating with Lamar Jackson to trade to Lamar Jackson. They're negotiating with the Baltimore Ravens for Lamar Jackson.
No, that's incorrect, this is how the non-exclusive franchise tag works. Just listen, let me talk through it, okay? The way the non-exclusive franchise tag works, you negotiate with the player, all right, just like they're a free agent. If they say, yes, we accept that offer, you then...
But wait, that makes no sense, Rick. I'll have to look this up because it makes no sense. So you're telling me the agent gets to dictate what Baltimore is willing to take?
You're not letting me finish. No,
okay.
The agent doesn't. Okay, Baltimore could have put him on a franchise tag. Nobody can negotiate. Nobody can anything. Okay, they didn't do that. They gave Lamar Jackson the ability to go negotiate with whomever. Okay, like a free agent would. Okay, he gets to test the market like a free agent, and Baltimore has the option to match the offer. Okay, now the offer is to Lamar Jackson. Let's say they offer him $40 million guaranteed, 5 years, whatever. I don't know, whatever. Who cares? That's not the point. Then the Ravens look at it and say, yes, we'll match that offer. Then he stays in Baltimore. If the Ravens say, no, we will not match that offer, we send 2 first-round picks and we get him. That's how it works. They lose him as a free agent, but they get 2 picks. That's how it works. That's the whole point behind it being a non-exclusive. That's what it means, non-exclusive franchise offer. It means otherwise it would just be putting a tag on him. There would be no difference. You put a tag on him, and then to get him, you have to work out a trade with Baltimore. That's the difference. Is you don't have to go negotiate with Baltimore. You have to negotiate with Lamar. And if Lamar agrees to the terms, Baltimore can match the offer. If they don't, they get 2 first-round picks and lose the player. You can look that up.
So the way you're saying it works is that the Ravens, under no circumstance, can get more than 2 firsts for him.
That's correct.
You're saying that. So why can't Lamar say, I want 2 seconds? I'll accept 2 seconds so I can go to this team.
He can't. No, that's not part of that. That's putting a tag on it. He doesn't get to negotiate the picks. He negotiates a contract like a free agent. He's not negotiating a trade. He's negotiating a contract with another team. If he chooses to agree to terms with another team, Baltimore can match it or not. If they don't match it, he goes to the other team and they get 2 first-round picks.
So which tag does he have?
He has the non-exclusive franchise tag.
Okay.
Non-exclusive franchise tag, meaning not just a franchise tag. A franchise tag would mean he's got to stay in Baltimore. You have to negotiate with Baltimore. The non-exclusive franchise tag changes.
The NFL needs to fix that then, because what you're doing is you're forcing. I'll put it this way: look how many draft picks were for Deshaun Watson.
No, I understand. It makes it a good deal now to try to get Lamar.
Well, it screws over the organization, because now they can only get two.
They made the choice.
Yeah,
to
but
not put the regular franchise tag on them.
Then that was a piss poor choice, because you've limited yourself.
It looks like it now. At the time, it looked like a great move. Now it looks like a bad move.
You could put a franchise tag on them, just a straight one, and still trade them. Just take the tag off.
Yes,
and you could have got like 10 draft picks.
Then you're forced to pay him. Here's basically what it is. You're then forced to pay him like a top 3 quarterback. Okay, you're forced to. Hold on, let's bring Dave in. Let's add Dave to this to these shenanigans here. Hold on here. Let me get this all set up. All right, let's add Dave. Hey, brother.
It's Friday night. I'm doing stuff. What is it?
So, Dave, tell me if I'm understanding the non-exclusive franchise tag correctly. If Lamar Jackson, let's say, were to agree to terms with the Buccaneers, Baltimore has the option to match that, and if they do, he has to stay in Baltimore. If they choose not to match that, we send 2 first-round picks and we get Jackson.
That's my understanding of it.
Okay.
And they did non-exclusive. So correct. It's like, well, I don't really want to go to the NBA, but it's like restricted free agency. You have the option to match, except the different twist there. Well, I should say is in the NFL is you have to cough up 2 number 1 draft picks in addition to.
Right.
You see, so this really is boggling to me, because like I was trying to point out, why would any team use a non-exclusive if you can just put the franchise tag as a place marker and then seek a trade and get multiple first rounds over 2, or 2 twos, 2 seconds, 2 firsts?
Here's the reason. If you think, first of all, let's say you don't really want the player, okay? You really don't want him, but you think some other team's going to want him. Well, you're getting 2 free picks, okay? You're getting 2 picks versus just losing the player. They just got two number 1 picks.
Well, it's not like he's a free agent, right? He's going to be a free agent next year.
He would have been a free agent this year.
Okay. So I guess my point is, it seems like the non-exclusive thing means nothing if you're limited to only 2 first-round picks in exchange for that. Whereas if you franchise tag them and still keep talking to teams about wanting to trade for them, you can get more than 2 first-round picks.
No, because if you don't get a deal worked out, if you don't get those 2 first-round picks, whatever, or if another team then says, I'm not willing to pay him like a top 3 quarterback, because if you do a regular franchise tag, you are guaranteeing that the guy's getting paid top 3.
120% of the player's salary the previous season. And either the average of top 5 salaries at the player's position or 120% of the player's salary the previous season, whichever is greater, the higher of the 2.
Right. So what ends up happening is the Buccaneers then might go, I'm not going to trade for him because that's only a 1-year deal. It's only a 1-year deal. And I'm not going to give him 2 1s and 2 2s for a guy that I'd get for 1 year.
Well, let me ask you this. So let's say right now, Ian Rappaport drops the fact that the New York Jets are willing to give up the 2 first-round picks to go after Lamar Jackson. The Ravens hear that and say, you know what? I've also got these chuckleheads over here at this organization that have called me and said they'd be willing to give more than that. So I'm going to pull the non-exclusive, and I'm going to place the franchise and trade them.
Too late. You're past the date. Right, you're past the date.
You had to make the decision. I forget the exact date, but
so again, to me, it makes no sense to ever use a non-exclusive if you can just place the franchise and pull it anytime and end up getting more value in the trade.
You can't pull it anytime. Okay, you
can pull a franchise. You can drop the franchise tag anytime, dude.
Right. Okay, if they pull the franchise tag right now, then he's a free agent. Period.
No. We're talking. You're talking. What's really happening? I'm talking hypothetical. If they put the regular franchise tag on, they can trade him for more than 2 first-round picks, and they can also pull that tag off at any point if they choose to.
Yes, but another
So you
team.
have all the wiggle room and options open. You can end up with a higher bounty of draft picks in a trade as opposed to non-exclusive. So what's the advantage? I guess is I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying. Is let's say as the Buccaneers, you put the franchise tag on Lamar in Baltimore. All right, now he's making $40 million for 1 year, 40 whatever it is for 1 year.
Right, but you could just trade him to do a restructure, re-sign him to a long-term deal, and get rid of that number.
Hopefully, if he wants to.
Well, I mean,
you've got a quarterback who's on a 1 year contract.
Right. Well, I mean, you wouldn't pull the deal if your people have been talking behind the scenes, about contract negotiations.
Right.
That would be collusion.
Well, it happens all the time.
Here's what I think. I think the Ravens are probably saying, we don't really want the guy. But instead of just letting him walk, we can get 2 first rounds out of this deal. Okay, so what they did was lose a free agent and their compensatory picks. Basically, you're getting 2 free first round picks, and then you're not re-signing him, which you really kind of you weren't all in on doing anyway.
Well, Deshaun Watson deal has just thrown chaos into the whole negotiating process with quarterbacks. It artificially elevated the market. And the players are going, hey, look, I'm better than Deshaun Watson. I deserve money better than what he gets. And the owners are coming back and saying, we're not going down this road just because Cleveland did. So you're gonna see more of this happening.
Right. Exactly. And this is, I think it's interesting. I think what Baltimore did at the time, it looked like a very shrewd move by Baltimore. It looked like a great move by Baltimore. And now they're looking at it and going, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, crap, we maybe could have gotten more. Although, again, I don't know that teams would have traded more because there would not, then you only get them on a 1 year contract, and they might have said, well, you can go ahead and talk and try to negotiate and work a deal with them, and then we'll try to work a deal. And then other teams might go, yeah, I'm not willing to give up more than 2 first round picks. So yeah, it's all a negotiating kind of a game. Here you're getting 2 free first round picks. You lose nothing. I think Todd Monken is now the Ravens offensive coordinator. Todd Monken had a great year with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's available. All of a sudden you pick up 2 first round draft picks. You open up your salary cap because Lamar leaves, and now you go get Baker Mayfield, which fits Baltimore more than, let's be honest, Lamar Jackson, not exactly the prototypical guy for Baltimore. Baltimore wins, Lamar Jackson wins. It works out okay. Not as good as maybe it could have if they hadn't signed him and then traded him, but probably part of the negotiating that Jackson wanted was a no trade clause. There's a lot. I'm sure Lamar Jackson's going to get a no trade clause wherever he goes. So they're either stuck paying him the average of a top 5 quarterback this year, and then they let him go, or do the same thing with the franchise tag again, or, he walks and they get nothing. So this sort of guarantees them 2 first round draft picks, and they get to choose. They get to look and say, do I want to pay this guy this much? Is he worth paying this much? If he's not, we get 2 first round draft picks out of the deal. That's not a bad position to be in. Everybody's sort of in a win-win sort of position. And I believe
if there's really a market, it depends on what the market is for him. If somebody's going to come forward or not with a or several teams with deals. If not, then Lamar Jackson's your quarterback for at least a year.
Right, how much salary?
Average of the top 5 quarterbacks.
Or 120% of what he got previous year. And I'm going to go with, I'm pretty confident it's the top. Yeah, the average of the top 5.
Yeah, right.
Whichever is greater of the 2.
It really is not a bad position for anybody right now. It's really not. And if the Buccaneers can get far enough under the cap, maybe it's worth a play. It's not my opinion. Not what I would prefer. I would prefer Jimmy Garoppolo and then all the extra salary cap to re-sign Levante David or Dean or Shaq Barrett or whoever.
Do you really want Levante David at this point in his career?
He had his best year ever.
It all depends on price, but
that's correct. It depends on price and how long he wants his deal. Because I think you've got 2 years left of Levante. Now, if you let Levante go, and I'm not completely opposed to it, okay? I'm not. If you let Levante go, and I am all about trading Devin White. I love the idea of trading Devin White. But what I was just saying is here's the way, if you pretend for a second you get Lamar Jackson, all right? And you have to give up 2 number 1 picks. You look at it this way. Your number 1 this year is Lamar Jackson, okay? That's who you draft this year. You get Lamar Jackson. Good deal. I'll take it, okay? So you give up one, you really lose 1 number 1 pick. And if you trade Devin White, you can get a 1 or 2 for Devin White. Man, that's not a bad situation to be in. And that opens $11 million in salary cap space. I mean, I'm all about that. And you've got all these draft picks. Remember, when you trade Devin White, you also get compensation.
Well, I told you my plan for the Buccaneers quarterback, what I want.
What's that?
I want to destroy the fan base. I want to blow up the entire internet. Why? I want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to sign Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston, and let's get a 3-way Florida quarterback competition going here, bro.
Mariota's not a Florida quarterback.
Huh? Oh, he technically be in Florida, and judging by some of the Bucs fans 5 years ago, he was the founder of Florida and the Saint. Anyway, could you imagine? You could get all 3 of those quarterbacks for less than half of what Lamar Jackson won.
A box of Cracker Jacks you could get them for.
Yeah.
and now
there's a reason you can get them for a box of Cracker Jacks.
Yes, and they mess that would create.
Oh, well, I want to preface this by saying this decision has nothing to do with football. It has everything to do with impressions and traffic, okay?
Yeah, at the end of the day, football is entertainment, and this would be entertainment. So
it would be entertaining. It would definitely be entertaining, and there would be a whole lot of traffic going to Bucs Report. So
now, did you see shortly after the whole Chicago Panther trade thing went down? Did you see that the Panthers will listen to offers for the first pick?
Did they really?
It was either Dub Kleiman or Rappaport, one of those dudes. They're basically pulling a draft day here.
That's awesome. That, you know what? If they trade the number 1 pick, I mean, I'm here in Charlotte. I live in Charlotte. If they trade the number 1 pick, first of all, there will be an audible uproar that you will hear, because right now everybody's excited about this team. And it's the first time in my 3 years living here I've heard anybody care. And everybody's talking about this team and what they're doing.
Is this coming from the same people that said Tom Brady's coming back and going to the Dolphins? It sounds like the same kind of thing.
That got squashed today too.
Yeah, but I agree with what Dave's saying. This rumor doesn't ring true, but I guess if you're the Panthers, it's the smart thing to say. And Dave, I know you would agree with this. Sure, we'll talk. You got an offer?
Oh, I love to let people. I give them a rope to hang themselves. Sure, if you want to really overpay, here I'll gladly let you do it. If you want to blow up your franchise and make, it goes back to the whole Herschel Walker trade that set up the Cowboys for the 1993 Super Bowl victories. I mean, if you want to be, I will let you be stupid. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
let me help.
Here's what we paid. Here's what we gave up for the number 1 pick. If you want it bad enough, it's got to be more than what we gave up.
Yeah. We have a fan base too.
So I mean,
I don't
minimum
see
is 2 1s and 2 2s. So
unless there's some team that is absolutely enamored with one of those quarterbacks, I don't see that happening, but you never know.
Interesting question, guys. Who's going to be the number one out of the quarterbacks? I've got my very strong feelings. I absolutely believe it's going to be C.J. Stroud. I believe C.J. Stroud. I think Bryce Young's too small. I think he's going to be as disappointing as every other Alabama quarterback.
He might be close.
And Richardson, okay, maybe in a few years. So and watching C.J. Stroud, and I hate the school he comes from, but having said that, I think C.J. Stroud is almost a don't miss, as close to a don't miss as you're going to get in this year's draft. I mean, C.J. Stroud to me looks really good. Who do you guys think?
Well, it comes down to the teams involved. I mean, if it's up to me, I'm not taking any of these quarterbacks this high. That's just my personal opinion. But well, it just depends on the teams and what they're looking for, and things can get odd when. Look what happened to the Bears. They traded up to get their quarterback of the future. Didn't pan out, and people lost their jobs. So I mean,
Who are you talking about?
Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, okay. Back to yeah. Whatever happened to him? Where is he now? Where's Mitch Trubisky now?
Is he with Orlando in the XFL or something?
I don't know. Where's
Orlando
Orlando has
quarterbacks every other day.
Orlando has the greatness of DeAndre Francois. Via Dove Kleiman. We all know Dove Kleiman from Twitter, right?
Yeah, Dove Kleiman.
The Panthers are open to trading down from the first overall pick they just acquired if they appear to have more than one QB prospect they really like. The first report of this came from Joe Pearson of The Athletic, and it was, retweeted or verified, whatever you want to call it, by Dove Kleiman. So I think they're waiting till draft day and someone's going to get desperate. That's what they're hoping for. And I want 3 first-round picks. Boom. Yep. You just fucking killed it. Oh, I'm sorry. You just freaking killed it.
Yeah.
Is this the appropriate time to bring up that the Carolina Panthers coach name is Frank Reich? We know this, right?
Right.
Do you know he's the third Frank Reich in his family?
Oh, no, the third Reich. Okay.
How are you guys
there is no appropriate time to bring that up.
Well, I figured North Carolina, they'd be embracing that, man. But
South Carolina, not North Carolina.
Well, 6 on one, half dozen on the other.
No, they weren't.
There's a difference. It's like going from Tennessee to Arkansas. There is a difference.
There's a difference.
As soon as you cross that line.
I feel like it's only a difference to the people in the region. Otherwise, it's perceived as one big Carolina, similar to the Dakotas.
Maybe, but it is. They are nothing.
I mean, even the Panthers decided not to designate one or the other. Carolina.
Wow.
I feel like the big losers in this to me is Aaron Rodgers, because he's rapidly running out of options.
Does he have that many?
Well, I feel like the Jets were an option. I feel like to an extent, even though I don't care for Florio, I still think the Dolphins and all their shadiness and backdoor dealings that they've been known to do have been talking about or looking for any quarterback they can get that isn't Tua for some reason. But now today they've recommitted. So I guess my point is isn't Aaron Rodgers limited to Green Bay, the Jets, or the Raiders? Realistically?
No. He could go to the Falcons. I mean, there are other options. There are teams that are out there.
Well, I mean, if we take away the teams that say we're not interested and we're riding with the quarterbacks we have.
Not in Rodgers. The Falcons haven't said no to Rodgers.
So you think they'd be more on Rodgers than they would Lamar Jackson?
Not
because they said no on Lamar Jackson.
Right. You said no other options. And by the way, teams who said no, I'm not sure they mean it. So we'll see.
I thought that was weird, but then you got to realize it's not like the team can call Lamar Jackson's freaking agent. He doesn't have one.
It's he, himself, and him.
This is a weird offseason. Right? This is a weird offseason. I still feel like I'm going to wake up on the 14th and Tom Brady's going to post a video on Twitter going, "Hey guys, after thinking about it, I'm coming back again."
Yeah.
And we're going to go,
bills.
oh,
I got
God,
legal
no.
expenses.
Well, you know what? With that, if you look at the offense, who would blame him? But I don't want him. I don't want him. I'm going to be clear. I don't want Tom Brady. I do not want Tom Brady. So,
And we've now concluded the dating portion of our show.
yeah. Hey, we got Todd from Winter Park here. Dude, can I catch up with you later?
Yeah. I'm going to bounce out. I hit my 15-minute quota. All I can say is listen, Bucs fans, it's going to be it's going to be all right. We're either going to be mid-level and get a decent draft pick and continue to clear cap space and build, or Kyle Trask is going to be lightning in a bottle and surprise all of you. Either way, if nothing else, do the whole Tom Brady thing and leading up to it, and now put a little faith in Jason Light and company.
Exactly.
They've come through in the past. They'll come through again. And
just don't
you
want
set
to
me
be
up perfectly. You set me up for this next this next person perfectly, dude.
Well,
this is what I tell him repeatedly. Trust it. Just
well, my wife says I'm kind of a big deal, so there's that.
You are.
Hey, Dave. I'm sorry, David, and Rick. Thank you so much, David.
Yes,
I'm glad to see you're switching it up with the color palette. You always match your decor, and I know that's not your intention, but I'm pretty sure there's somebody who has a say in that. So great job. We look forward to next week. Next week is New Year's Eve. It's coming.
That's right.
Real New Year's Eve.
Exactly, the one where we really
matters.
The one that actually causes Bucs fans to drink. All right, guys, I thank you for your time. Thank you for the vine. Everybody out there, have faith in Jason Light, because like Motel 6, we'll leave the light on for you.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's bring Todd in. Todd from Winter Park. Hello, brother.
Todd from the Big WP. What's up on this Friday night for you?
What's going on, guys? Everything good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Todd. So, Todd, did you hear what dude just said?
I heard him.
And please, I mean, you and I have had this conversation months.
Yes.
Just wait. They have a plan. Wait for it to reveal itself. They have a plan. Now, when you're looking at everything today, are you going, they had a plan?
Well, the plan's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Like you said, 24 hours ago it was a little dim.
Yeah.
Well, the light is shining a little bit now. So,
who knew that they had this much of a plan?
Well, I'm going to say some things. Rick, you and I have talked about it. I don't think David's heard me say these things, but a couple things.
Wait. I'm bracing myself. Go ahead,
well,
please.
I'm very prejudiced to some of these players that we've had around for a while, and I would hate to see Levante go. I think Levante's he's been a great player on and off the field. Does a lot for the Tampa community. You never hear anything negative about Levante. Just a great character person, well spoken, and he's just a class act. And I hope he stays a Buccaneer.
That's all
comes down to price. It's a business, and it comes down to price.
Thank you,
Dave. I know it's a business, and I was telling Rick earlier, that's the reality of it. Sometimes reality stinks, but I know it's a business, and that's the
thing is, Todd, the thing is this, like he says he wants to test the free agent market, right?
Right.
He's saying, I want to go look at the other teams and see what they're going to offer me. Okay?
Right.
He's willing to leave, possibly. But you're not wanting the team to be willing to move on. He can move on, but the team can't move on. That makes no sense to me. Okay?
Right.
Listen, it's nice to sit there and say, oh, loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Players aren't before this last contract. I promise you, they had to pay him or he would have left. Okay? It's not about loyalty from Levante or from the team. It has to make sense for Levante and it has to make sense for the team.
No, I get that. I understand all that. It's it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But I get it. I do get
world.
It.
I get it in a perfect world. I get it. Yeah.
Right. The big trade today, the Dolphins committing to Tua.
Yep.
And not knowing what really the future is going to be like for him. He's a hit away from having another concussion, and then what do they do? So
well, they know more than we do.
Well, I mean, and he was 8-0 at one point for all the games he started. It's not like he's an unknown quantity. I mean, when he's healthy, I mean, that's a big if. And then that comes down to their medical staff and giving them accurate information. Okay, he's had his bell rung X number of times. What's the odds of him happening again and that sort of thing? But It's not like he's an unknown quantity. I mean, he was 8-0 at one point on games he started and finished. So
no, and that's a great point because I think Tua's, I think he's a pretty good quarterback. Protect the guy.
Well, who are you talking about him going for? Who do you think the Dolphins would go try to get if it wasn't Tua?
I think it would be Rodgers or Jackson.
Well, Rodgers, I don't think it's going to be Rodgers, okay? I don't even think they're thinking about Rodgers. Jackson has gotten hurt the last 2 years. You don't want to go with Tua because he gets hurt. You got Jackson who gets hurt.
Right.
You haven't changed anything.
No, but Aaron's getting up there in age. Lamar brings a whole different dimension to a team.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about when I say that. And I know David don't like a running quarterback, but man, oh man.
No, I don't. Give me reason to, and I will, but I don't.
Well, I don't think I can change your mind, but think about the weapons we have. The running back we got back there that I think is going to be very special. I think he's going to be a star. And then you add Lamar to that with Evans, Godwin, Gage, Olton, Keith. And then you add a few wrinkles in there, a few draft picks. And our offense is pretty good. Our offense, I told Rick earlier, I think our offense would be a top 5 offense in the league.
And I say, simmer down, Sparky. We don't even know what this offensive coordinator is like. So hold on, let's wait and see.
Right.
Yeah, they may not even try to be a top 5 offense. Kind of like Tennessee didn't try to be an offensive juggernaut. We may not try to be. All right, that just may not be a goal.
Now the other thing that scares me a little bit, you guys know, and I don't know what Atlanta's doing, but they have $66 million. They still, I guess they're believing in Ritter, but I don't know if he's the answer or not. But they got $66 million to spend. They could be big splashers in free agency. And I don't think that team is that far off like a lot of people do.
I do. They got a lot of holes to fill. They have a lot. They have no defense. I mean, they have no defense at all.
Well,
I mean, they're going to have to spend a lot of money on free agents to build the defense.
Yeah.
And draft picks and everything. I mean, they have no defense. They're terrible.
So you think they're you put Carolina and New Orleans ahead of them?
I don't even think it's close.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I mean that kind of money, if they do it right and they use it wisely, they could bring in some key people
But
to get them better.
Todd, remove Devin White, remove Ryan Suckup, okay? Restructure some more contracts, and you're $40 million under the cap for Tampa. Okay,
Remember, yeah. Remember, we talked about last week that we weren't going to be big players in free agency. Well, if we're $40 million under the cap, we might be able to make a little noise.
No, that's my point. Is and this is what I've been talking about for quite some time. Is just let the plan unfold. You've got guys who year after year after year with the cap and otherwise have proven themselves. Year after year, they get it done. They get done what has to be done. They manage to work it out. Listen, we may look at, let's say we're looking at Levante David. And maybe they're looking at somebody in the draft that they like a lot that would fill that hole. And we're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I read a post today. Let me see if I can find this post. It made me laugh. It was a tweet. Somebody tweeted something along the lines of, okay, if we let him go, if we let Levante David go, I'm done as a Buccaneers fan.
I won't go that far.
So you weren't a Bucs fan after all.
I'm a Buccaneer fan for life.
Okay, here you go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. If Levante David isn't on the team, neither am I. I refuse to suffer through a horrendous rebuild yet again without getting to see my favorite player wear a Bucs uniform, creamsicles at that. Which, by the way, Levante David started in the creamsicles. Now, having said that, okay.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah, my reply to him was, no need to announce it. Just leave. Sorry, the crappy part about being a fan happens. You go through the good times, you go through the bad times. No need to announce your departure. Enjoy your next team. Philly, Buffalo, and Cincy, I'm sure would be more than happy to take you. And they're winning. Bye, Felicia.
How many years did we go through?
Horrible years.
2 and 14, 3 and 13.
People 12 years of 10 or more losses in a row.
Yeah. Yes. People wearing bags over their faces at the games. I mean,
it wasn't until under Tom Brady did the franchise finally hit 40% of their lifetime victories for the life of the franchise. We were below 40% until what? Tom Brady's second year, I think.
Yeah.
When we went 13-4, franchise record.
Yeah. I even have to give props. I actually have to give props to somebody who does a show similar to this one. I've got to give props to Peter Blake for before the news broke of all the restructures and before all of that, he came out and said, get Lamar Jackson, period, end. That's the right move. And which was, it was before the news broke, before all of that. So I got to give him props because, it sounded like something that would be impossible. And suddenly, not so impossible. And it's possible. Guys, the Bucs. It's possible. Now, it's not what I want necessarily. It's not my first choice. My first choice is Jimmy Garoppolo and then fill in, our own free agents and some others, as well as, a rookie class. I firmly believe that would be the most successful path forward. And then you have Trask at number 2 with the chance to compete because maybe Trask is better than, it may be he's going to do something special. We won't know if Lamar Jackson comes in. So you bring in Garoppolo. He's got a chance to compete in practice. We have a chance to see what we got, and we move forward. And
you didn't mention Blaine Gabbert. Is he just completely?
he's not
off
on the
board
team
and
anymore.
done?
Well,
I know he's a free agent, but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
you can't sign again.
No, I agree, but he was a product of the Arians system. That's what made him the ideal backup. Yeah, I don't. Now you got to teach him a whole different system and all that. And I don't know.
Well, let me ask you both this. If you bring in Jimmy G, you have Trask there, and you could get another quarterback at a minimum, at a good price.
Well, you're going to have a third.
A very low price. Would you bring in a Drew Lock because he knows the system with the offensive coordinator?
Sure. If you can get him cheap enough, sure.
Comes down to price and ability today, camp, not what he's done in the past.
And you're not going to get much ability out of a third string quarterback. And you're not going to, and understand you're going to end up with probably 4, maybe even 5 in camp, just camp meet.
But don't underestimate, because the San Francisco 49ers would have killed for a third string quarterback in the NFC Championship.
No, I understand that.
Or fourth, or whatever they were up to.
Right.
Whatever they were up to at that point.
I'm just, right. To me, the Niners offensive system is almost plug and play for certain guys. When Mr. Irrelevant can come in, when Brock Purdy can step in and run it like that, it says a lot about the system. And the exciting part about what's happening with the Buccaneers now with our shiny new offensive coordinator is look at what they did with Geno out in Seattle. So, right. I mean, maybe we're onto something here.
Hey, his agent deserves Agent of the Year if they got that award.
Yeah. But I believe Jimmy G is the right answer in the sense that you can still build a team around him. You can still afford a team around him.
Right.
That and it's not like you're going to look at Jimmy G and say, well, that guy could never get you to the Super Bowl. He's already done it. So, I'm open to it. I'm open to it.
Well, I mean, I am too. Like you say, we could get him, I believe, cheaper than Lamar. We could get some more pieces around him. I think what we need more than anything. I think our O-line, like you said, Rick, I think our O-line is going to be fine. Now, if we get rid of Devin, then we're going to need some linebackers, D-line help. I don't know if we're going to keep Golson. We will have Shaq Barrett back. Hopefully, he comes back healthy.
Yep.
But
all these guys, all of a sudden, it's looking like these guys aren't impossible to re-sign or go get even better replacements. All of a sudden, that's possible, and especially if you bring in somebody like Jimmy G, who is not going to break the bank. All of a sudden, it doesn't look. I mean, you can put a team. You can complete a team around him.
Well, I got my question answered about the Bears today. So obviously, they are keeping the guy I really wanted.
I can't even.
That was never. I don't think that was
never going to happen. It was never going to happen. By the way, Dave.
Yes.
Todd and I have talked a lot about the NFL draft, and I want you to do me a favor. Tell him the story because I think it's hilarious. The draft story about Josh Freeman, which I just think it's. Tell him the story.
What year was that even?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It must have been like 2007 or so. It was about that 6, 7, and 8. I forget which year exactly it was.
Right.
There's a friend of mine that his dad played for the Denver Broncos back in the 60s. He was a backup linebacker, but he was a huge Denver Bronco fan. Anyway, we were going over to his house to watch I picked up Rick, and we were going over to his house to watch the draft. And as soon as Rick got in the car, all I heard was, I don't care who the Bucs pick as long as they don't pick Josh Freeman. Basically, the ride there, which is, you would know, Longwood from east of town, which was
Right.
a substantial ride. I lost count of how many times Rick remarked how anybody but Josh Freeman, anybody, I mean anybody but him. And
Right.
then it got to the draft, and I lost it when it was like those Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Josh Freeman. I was like, oh, that was just priceless. That was priceless. So,
Well, the thing about that is I believe now I correct me if I'm wrong. I think Raheem Morris was on that staff when Josh Freeman was at Kansas State. Is that right?
I don't know if it was at the same time, but they were both from K-State, so there was that connection.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we did draft him, I didn't know a whole lot about him, but when I saw him play, he had the first year, his rookie year, I thought he played pretty good, and I thought, okay, this guy is going to be the guy. I thought the same thing about Jameis.
Oh, I thought it too. I thought it too. I thought, oh, I guess I was wrong.
I mean, I thought Josh Freeman. And here's the thing that the first couple years he was really good. He ran a little bit.
He was good the first year.
I know David don't like a running quarterback, but it seemed like after a couple years,
we got to do it.
It seemed like after the first couple of years, he acted like he was scared to run.
Well, listen, from the time he didn't show up for the team picture, look,
he had.
He had other stuff going on.
He had
some
mental health issues.
Yes, I get that. The guy had but he did have a decent arm, and I don't know if Rick, I think I
so did Jeff George.
Rick, I think I told you this. David, I don't know. I don't think I've told you this, but there was a game. It was a national TV game. And they were building us up. Josh Freeman was the quarterback. It was a nationally televised preseason game, third game against Kansas City in Kansas City. And I believe we went out there and beat them 25-0.
Preseason.
That was preseason now, but
right.
25-0. Now, I might be wrong on that score, but I think that was the score. And when they went out there and did that, of course, again, it was a preseason game. Well, everybody was, hyping up us, thinking we're going to have a great year. And I don't think we had a very good year that year. So.
Well, for the record, Josh Freeman was a 17th overall pick in the 2009 draft, and his last team that he played, he was on the Montreal Alouettes in 2018 for the offseason and/or practice squad, and before that, he was with the Indianapolis Colts in 2015. That was his last NFL experience.
So he was in a Canadian. He was on a CFL practice squad.
Yes, he was in 2018.
That's awesome. Glad we drafted him 17th overall.
Wow.
Well, I mean, go look at any of how many hotshot quarterbacks. I mean, they're saying there's 4 in the top 10 this year. Hey, let's see how that all pans out.
At least we got.
I mean, look at the drafts.
At least we got 4 years. At least we got 4 years out of Jameis. They were excited.
Would it surprise y'all if Carolina took Richardson?
No, I don't think it does because of the physical specimen that he is. And he is, but that doesn't mean he can play football. And he can run, he can jump, he's got a cannon.
He would be the second coming of Cam Newton. And this franchise made a mint with Cam Newton.
Right.
So would I be surprised? Heck no. Heck no.
Now, that being said, I think they gave up their best receiver.
But
I think DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's a relative thing.
Right. Right. Thank you, Dave. You went right where I was. You read my mind.
It was their best receiver, but okay. It was the Panthers, and they really weren't that good this past year.
No, they weren't. They weren't. But now they're going to have to sign some receivers or draft some receivers.
And they
So,
will.
which makes me think that
They've got cap space, buddy.
Carolina is not going to be. I don't think they're going to be all that.
Okay, don't jump to conclusions, but okay. Hey, by the way, I want to say hey to Christopher Cole. Hey, how you doing there, buddy? I see your message. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
I still think the Saints have the edge right now. Now we don't know what's going to. We don't know we don't know what's going to happen next week. Next week is a mystery. So looking forward to next week for sure. Looking forward to Monday and then Wednesday at 4:00 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this next couple of days, when we see how far we are under the cap, it's going to get interesting. The next few days it's going to get fun the next couple of days.
Right.
And I think we're going to re-sign a couple of folks. I think we're going to let some other guys hit free agency. And we might lose some guys. I've been telling you guys for the last couple of years, part of the deal with being good is you end up losing free agents. That's how it works. When your team is good, other teams want those guys. And when it hits free agency, you can't pay everybody. That's how the NFL, they want parity. This is how it works. Okay, so yeah, we're going to lose some guys. Now we just have to be smart about who we lose. And that doesn't mean it's fun to lose them. It doesn't mean you want to lose them. It just means you're at a situation where you got to make decisions. Christopher Cole says Carolina got robbed. I don't know if Carolina got robbed. Let's wait and see. Remember what the Buccaneers paid for John Gruden? And we got a Super Bowl out of it. Yeah. We didn't get robbed. If Carolina ends up really good and ends up getting this franchise quarterback who's a Panther for the next 20 years, it's kind of hard to say that they got robbed. Remember, you lose.
Determined.
Right, it's to be determined because you can lose draft picks, but it doesn't mean you don't have the ability to go get free agents that make up for those draft picks. So it doesn't mean if you don't make good draft picks, or if you don't make draft picks at all, if you trade away your draft picks, you can still win a Super Bowl, like the Rams. The Rams did it. Now, now things are starting to come apart, but happened with the Bucs too. And you lose players, and that's how it works. The NFL is built for you to not win year after year after year after year. That's what made the Patriots so special. What did the Patriots do? The Patriots were willing to cut ties with players a year or two before they were done.
And would not overpay for contracts.
That's correct.
Not overpay for players. And they had balance. It wasn't like they had the all-world quarterback, but at other positions, they would take B players, but they would be solid across all positions, and they had depth.
Yep. And I want to address this comment here by Bucs Skull Gang. BSG said, Bucs better ace the draft this year. This is what's different, Bucs Skull Gang. This is what's different. 24 hours ago, the Bucs desperately needed to nail this draft. Here we sit 24 hours later, and it's not as critical at all as it looked because we're going to be able to re-sign more people than we expected. We're going to be able to keep some folks. And if we don't keep the folks, that means we've got a plan. Keep this in mind. Todd, you've heard me say this how many times? We have a plan. Let the plan unfold. Let's say the Buccaneers let Levante David go. All right? If the Buccaneers let Levante David go, understand they've already got in their mind options and what they want to do if he leaves. This team is not sitting there just saying, well, if we lose him, we'll figure it out. They have a plan for all these different eventualities. They've got this plan, and let them do it. You said Bucs on Lamar watch. Maybe. It's possible. Didn't look like it was possible. All of a sudden, it looks possible. But let me ask you a question, Buck Skull Gang. In chat, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell me, are you willing to give up Devin White, Levante David, and Jamel Dean, and Ryan Suckup to get Lamar Jackson? Are you willing to give up those players? Are you willing to give up Ryan Suckup, Devin White, Levante David, and Ryan Suckup to get Lamar Jackson? I look forward to your answer on that one, because that's what you're looking at to be able to afford that guy. I'm not saying the answer is no. He's 26 years old. Dave and I discussed this afternoon. He's 26 years old. It's really hard to not take that, to not look at that young age and go, he's going to be around for years. Maybe he's worth it. Well, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a second. Todd, I got to run. We got somebody else we're going to bring in here real quick.
All right, Rick, Dave, appreciate it, man. Thank you, guys.
Always a pleasure. Night. Have a great Friday night.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring in the coach. Coach Slick.
So how's practice gone this week, Coach?
Oh no, I can't get enough. What can I say? I'm infectious with you guys.
Man, oh man, what a difference 24 hours makes. What a difference 24 hours makes. Holy cow, man. 24 hours ago, we were thinking, we're kind of screwed. Doesn't look like it so much now. All of a sudden, there's other options. Now, I want to know your thoughts, Coach. What do you think the Bucs should do?
I think they need to have a look at see if there's any real interest in Devin White, because it is 11 million. And I'm going to be honest here, and there might be a few eyebrows raised. It's probably a position, if they do bring back Levante David. Now, obviously, we don't know how long Levante David is going to be great, but he's probably not going to command big salaries for at least a few more. He's not going to command any more big salaries. That way you can go draft somebody and bring somebody up. If you look at a lot of the inside linebackers around the league, they're not all first-round picks. A lot of them are seconds and thirds.
Correct.
So you don't need to go hard, go big on this. You can go and get somebody in the third or fourth round. Maybe you have to trade up. I don't know. We have got some comp picks as well, which is always nice. So you can use those to try and go up in the draft. Maybe get a turn of four, take one of those 6th-round picks and a 7th-round pick, package them together with another pick, and you can go back into the 3rd round. So I would look at that. But the problem is you end up pissing off Devin White because you're shopping. Nobody wants to be shopped.
Okay. I agree with you. And you certainly don't publicly shop him. But listen, NFL Edition Entertainment, Johnny. There we go. Johnny just said, spend the money we've saved on Orlando Brown and go into the season with the 2 best tackles in the league. That's very interesting. The only thing I would say is I think we're going to be able to get a really good tackle in round 1. So and that's way cheaper.
17, 18 million he's looking at? Yeah. That's a lot.
So
a lot of cheddar.
Yeah. Yeah. Which Johnny, I want to tell you, I did just send you a link in your in Messenger. But here we go. This says, can the Bucs package picks and get Aaron Rodgers now? The only way I know how to say this is no.
He's thinking about it.
Stop it. Okay, $60 million. No. You're not just packaging picks. You're getting rid of half your roster. Mm-hmm. You're everybody that's a free agent, gone. Shaq Barrett, gone. Everybody gone. Just forget it. It's over. All right.
I don't think people realize how long it takes to rebuild a roster. I don't think it's not. It doesn't matter how many draft picks you have.
Right.
You have to hit on them. So and we all know that. Let's face it. Most teams, when they do a draft, you finish that. Let's say they have all 7 rounds, they probably walk away with 2 guys that will probably play for about 8 years plus.
Yep.
Then you'll get
Yep.
about 3. You might get 2 guys that will play for about 4 years, and the rest will go in the trash.
Yep.
And that's just realistic facts.
Wasn't it two seasons ago the Patriots set a record for spending on free agents? Look where that got them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now let's do this. Let's add
Oh, we
to
got
the
a
mix
Johnny Dean.
Johnny Dean. How you doing, brother?
All right, man. I like the way they structured this now because there's not going to be any. It's not pushing money back to later.
Right. Yep. I'm loving the fact. I mean, Johnny
was partly joking because he's probably going to get a great offer because he is the best tackle out there.
For sure.
Okay. But if we did that, because all right, in the draft, there's some tackles, but there's a huge drop off after the top 5 tackles. Okay. And they're probably going to be gone before 19. Okay. And then everything else is a project.
Well, you said, wait, there's how many tackles do you have?
There's about 5 tackles that are qualified starters right now.
Agreed. And I don't think they're all going that early. I don't think all of them are.
Well, San Francisco is going to eat them up because they just lost 2 tackles right there. So they're going to be making trades to get a tackle. The Chiefs are going to need another tackle to replace Brown. So there's going to be a lot of maneuvering in the draft to get these tackles. And it just goes to show who's going.
And the Bucs can maneuver to get one of the tackles as well if they wanted.
Yeah, they can. But do we ever see them do that?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Trade up that high in the first round.
Okay, maybe not that.
No, they traded away with Broderick Jones from Georgia. It's 19. I think that's a reasonable expectation.
That's where his ranking's at. But he's going to go faster because a lot of tackles got let go this year.
They just traded. Hold on, the Buccaneers. What was the year? It was just recently the Bucs traded up in the draft to get. Worse. Yeah, worse.
We only traded up a couple of spots. I think.
Yeah, that was just a couple spots, though. Yeah.
Well, but you're not going to have to.
And that wasn't during a trade war. That wasn't during a time when everybody's going to try to grab these guys either.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And I want to say this. Coach and Johnny, do you guys think I'm crazy? I don't. First off, if the Bucs go get Lamar, okay. Well, no, okay. I get it because he's 26. You've got your quarterback for years. You might pay for it for this year or two, but you got a guy for a long time.
I'm just saying, Lamar's not going nowhere, man.
If he stays healthy. Now, set that aside. Well, Johnny, I don't necessarily agree because Monken is now there, and remember, Monken and Baker Mayfield together was a pretty lethal team. They did a great job in Cleveland. So I don't know that that's accurate, that he's not going anywhere. I think they set it up to where they'll get a couple first-round picks out of the deal, and that's worth it to them. But my belief, my thought process is that not that they should go for Lamar. It's now you've opened yourself up to be able to get a Super Bowl quarterback, not Super Bowl winning, a Super Bowl quarterback in Jimmy G, relatively cheap, and then you can still re-sign a lot of your guys and maybe go get some other guys.
Jimmy G can't finish the season, man.
Yeah, neither can Lamar. Agreed. But I mean, Jimmy G has finished seasons, and it's a different type of offense. It's a totally different type of offense. It's no longer. I mean, no quarterbacks finishing the season in San Francisco. They go through 12 quarterbacks in a year.
That was with the 2 best tackles in the league on their team. Trent Williams is gone now. So I can understand why nobody wants to play quarterback for San Francisco because they're going to get slaughtered.
Well, yeah, but it's because of the offense that they're running, and we're not going to run that same offense. You're looking more like the offense in Seattle, who, if you notice, I mean, you use the mobility.
There's a lot of similarity between Seattle's offense with what the hell?
No, Geno Smith.
No, I'm talking about with the head coach.
He runs
the same basic offense as 49ers is running with the run game and shit. You know,
well, they have more.
They play. Give me a good heavy run game, and let me pick my targets. They don't really use the running quarterbacks a lot.
I don't think they had Jimmy G running much.
No, none.
Right.
Actually, he did early on in his career. He did run, but did not.
Right.
He's more Brady like with that statue thing.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing it. I think he's mobile enough. It's gonna the best thing. I think we I want to go around here. Dave, you go first. I want to go around the horn here and get, if I can say that. I want to get your opinions on this. Dave, do you? Yeah, I did, didn't I? Do you? Now I lost my train of thought. Doggone.
Yes.
How do you
C.
have a
The answer is C.
Okay. Do you think that the Buccaneers? First of all, let me ask this: who's the best team in the NFC South
right now?
No. Say the Bucs get Jimmy G.
It's to be determined.
That.
You've got money for free agency now, and it depends on how you're going to spend it. And are you going to look at this year being a competitive year, or are you setting yourself up for next year? It depends on how they
for this year. Who's best
for this year? I mean, I think it's New Orleans now. I mean,
Johnny?
Look, this is all relative. It's not like none of these teams are getting past. They're going to win a game in the playoffs. But if you're asking me who's the best right now, well, New Orleans has a quarterback that has been to the playoffs.
Johnny?
I don't know if anybody else does.
I agree with him right now.
No, I said if you have Jimmy G.
Yeah. I still say New Orleans, but right now. But then again, I think no matter how you look at it, unless we build that offensive line, we're looking at third place in this division because the Panthers, after they moved up, I don't know what they're going to do with that, but they're only a quarterback and a couple of pieces away. Although they just did give away their best.
Who are they throwing the ball to? Yeah, who are they throwing it to?
Okay, we put the Panthers on a pedestal because we wanted hope last season that let's remember the Panthers got Matt Rule fired during the season.
I never put Panthers on a pedestal. I actually picked them to be last place last year. Okay. I'm just looking at the difference in coaching styles and what they've done with that defense. Defense wins games, dude. It does. And we saw that last year.
It's like who gets the D+, C- and wins the division. I mean,
but you didn't see it with the Panthers. You didn't see it last year. Coach Slick, who do you think is the best in the NFC South?
I mean, there's a lot more pieces at play here. I mean, New Orleans is obviously the easy answer, but I'm going to go away from that just because we don't know if they've got Alvin Kamara. He's going through some legal issues himself. They're going to have to they're still going to get rid of some people. I'm hoping James Winston doesn't want to leave, so they have to cut him, and he costs more money to cut than he does just so we can I don't know, he counts for 11 million dead cap if they cut him. So great, cut him, please. By all means, eat the dead cap just for us. If the Buccaneers pick the right person for the right job, it could be us. There's no reason it can't be. Derek Carr's been in divisions where they weren't as strong. Where they were stronger. They've gone through things, but he's never really been the man, has he? So, was I read the other day? He's just basically a white Jameis Winston.
No, he's much better than Jameis Winston. That's a bad comparison, dude. Come on.
I just said what I read, Johnny Dean. I just said what I read.
I think you put up the comment from Buck's Skull Gang in the house and see if you can figure out which one I'm talking about.
Let's see. Hold on. Oh, this?
No.
What?
Down to. Put that one up. Can we resign Dean? Yes, you got him right here. David and Dean right here.
Johnny Dean and David Whitescarver. You can get them both.
You got us. Bam.
Listen,
now we're
here's
favored
the
to win the division.
Let me say this to Bucs Skull Gang. You're asking, can we re-sign Dean and David? The thing is, you were just asking if we can get Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
that's hilarious to me.
Right. You can't. I mean, there's only so much money. So, I mean, we're probably not going to have Dean back. Okay. Jamel Dean's probably gone. All right. In your head, you got to move on from that. They'll draft probably somebody somebody to play back there. Also, by the way, Antoine Winfield's going back to play the position he's a little more natural at, I believe. You agree with that, Johnny?
Yeah. I always am happy when a player is in his natural position.
You agree, Coach?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think the way they see him is he's a bit of a Swiss Army knife, so they like to put him away in different places. So I think just so he can impact the play from any which way. And they've also got to account by moving him around. The quarterback might not see him. You've got always accounting for him, so you can move other things around and you disguise your defense a little bit better. So you're window shopping it almost to dress it in one way, and then he's looking, the Winfield's over there, and then Winfield just drops back in the coverage instead of blitzes. So it's just things like that. So I think I think they will find the right position for him. I think they've got an absolute steal when they drafted him. Fantastic player.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, guys, I'm more excited maybe about this year. When I look at the line with Wirfs at left tackle, Jensen is back. Gedeke played good at right tackle. Remember that. He did the game he was in there. He played good at right tackle. But okay, even if you don't do that, if you draft one of the tackles, we're good at tackle. I mean, Hainsey. I mean, you've got Hainsey actually, I don't know if people realize this, Hainsey graded out higher than Jensen did during the year. Or that Jensen did during the first 2 years with Jensen.
There's more than just numbers, though. Jensen brings the accountability to that.
Oh,
line.
yeah.
Jensen,
it's leadership.
I agree, but my point is you put Hainsey next to him and we're good. I think our offensive line is going to be much better this year than it was last year. And they're talking about bringing back.
I hope so.
What's his name from New England that we got from New England?
Shaq Mason.
Yeah, Shaq Mason. So, I mean, I think our offensive line is going to be okay because it will be fortified in the draft and free agency. I mean, we'll be able to get a little depth. You're not getting key starters, amazing, whatever, necessarily on the draft.
Hopefully, you won't have a quarterback this year who doesn't want to gets rid of the ball too quick.
That's what I was going to ask you. Thank you, Dave. Am I crazy, guys? I believe that the biggest problem on the Buccaneers last year was Tom Brady on the offense. Is that crazy?
No, I 100% agree with you.
It's not at all. How can you run the offense that they've kind of this? Because it was still a march to no risk it, no biscuit. It couldn't be done because Tom Brady was afraid that they've gone to a break. So all you have to do then is your defenders just have to pull back. They've got to go to their 10-yard landmarks.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
Right.
Difference cover.
They can't run the ball. It's like the running game sucks, and which makes the offensive line look bad. Why? Because everybody's within 10 yards. Because you're not going to throw the ball beyond 10 yards.
Exactly.
So Kurt Warner broke Brady down last year perfectly in his breakdown on Brady's tape.
What did he say?
Exactly what we've all been saying, man. He was afraid to get hit. He was not throwing Brady-esque balls. His head wasn't in the game. He said he's never seen Brady act like that before.
That's why I laughed when everybody was like, Brady's going to go to Miami. And I'm like, well, there goes Miami. I'm thinking, I was like.
Tom Brady is not the first quarterback to stay around for one season too long, and he won't be the last.
Yep. And he looks skinnier. He looks even skinnier, by the way. And I noticed when he was at camp last year, I was like, what happened to Brady?
Yeah, he's got good juicing, man. I swear he's got.
He just juicing, not as in.
Eat a cheeseburger, Tom. Go ahead, eat a cheeseburger.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not
Beef
eating. He wasn't juicing like Barry Bonds was juicing.
Right.
He was juicing like literally juicing, like as in
or whatever.
Right. Like
his, I used to have.
Yeah, his fruit ninja or whatever he's got. I mean,
his avocado.
Avocado ice cream.
Somebody please eat some solid food, dude. You need to eat solid food.
He had a slice of avocado with it.
That wasn't really solid.
Avocado toast.
It's avocado
whole grain bread.
Take you a nice big
sprouted,
beef steak and
whatever that means.
Slice of avocado on top of it. Be great.
It just, to me, I watch like as I sat there and watched last year, and I kept hearing everybody ripping our line. And I kept watching. And first of all, Brady got hit 28th out of 27. Out of 32 quarterbacks. Okay, 27 quarterbacks got hit more than Brady. And you say, well, yeah, I got rid of the ball in 2 seconds. Agreed. Agreed.
Well, this is what our line did last year. Our line was like the Cowboys circling the friggin' wagons for when the Indians attacked. That's all they did. They played pocket presence. That's it. They whenever they try to go into spread and run the ball, they got destroyed. Okay, they constantly circling the wagons, and that's simply because Brady can't move. Brady's terrified and throws the ball away.
And he's got to hold the ball for 2 seconds or less. And so you just pack the box and you can't run. And because he's not going to throw if they spread the offense, you still only have to cover within 10 yards.
How many times did you see the receivers look at Brady like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, absolutely. And Brady throwing the ball into the dirt, just stepping back. Yeah. Like he didn't, it was almost like he didn't care to try.
Well, he didn't work out with the team like he usually does in the first place. Right. And then when he did get back with the team, he'd taken these vacations instead of going and getting with the team. I mean, I get it. You had a divorce. I've been through divorces. I know how traumatic that shit is. But God, man, you said you're going to unretire to come back. Be in your right headspace when you do. Okay.
Well, yeah,
that's on you. Yeah. That's not on the team or.
Well, how many players get divorced? I mean, you think that everybody acts like he's the first quarterback to ever get divorced. Right. When have you ever heard anybody say, well, he had a bad year? It's okay.
Exactly. He got and then he's running off to Kraft's wedding and shit. Man, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You should
and
spend
on Kraft for having
I'm taking Wednesdays off
with the team.
Oh, I'm going to the Caribbean for 11 days. I'm taking Wednesdays off. This doesn't sound like Tom Brady broke into parks illegally when he first signed with the Buccaneers to work out with his teammates.
Exactly.
What happened?
Exactly.
What happened to that guy?
On my show, I had rants about that all year last year. I was like, where is Brady? That's not Brady out there on the field. Where is Brady?
I agree with you completely. Where is Brady? What happened? And that's why we ended up where we ended up. And that's why I say, guys, if you plug in Garoppolo or you plug in, I'm going to say it, Baker Mayfield, if you plug in a good quarterback who's not afraid to move a little bit laterally or step up into the pocket, you're going to have a much better offense. And that's, guys, I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's better than Tom Brady. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Baker Mayfield is better than 2022 Tom Brady.
I'm telling you what, if this is how I look at it, if they don't use Trask this year and see what they got, then Jason Light failed.
Well, no, because
that's a second round pick, and that's another top rated fucking body that could have been on that team.
But Johnny, hold on. That's like saying that the Packers failed because Jordan Love hasn't started yet. No, I hear what you're saying, and I'm not totally disagreeing. I'm going to agree with you on another level. I'm going to say if you bring in somebody like Garoppolo, you can then have Trask as your backup quarterback. Yeah, as your backup quarterback, and you can see what he can do as your backup. Then you know if he can compete with Garoppolo or not. You know what you want to do going forward. You can find out because when he's your third or fourth string quarterback, he's not even getting practice reps.
No, especially when you got Brady in front of you who's going to take all the reps.
Right. So this way you get a guy who's, you put him at number 2 behind one of these guys. He gets practice reps. You get to see what you've got with him. And that, even though we're not seeing it, who cares? Who cares if we see it? They can see it. And if you notice, by the way, the only person, how we keep hearing all the, this glowing words about Kyle Trask from the Buccaneers. Well, but what's happening is you're hearing Bruce Arians say that. Arians has no stake in any of this. You don't hear Todd Bowles glowing about Kyle Trask. You hear Todd Bowles say, we have no idea.
He might compete for the second string job.
Are made by the OC.
What's that?
All I've heard was about the OC. That's the only interview I've seen. I haven't heard Arians say. I know that it was rumored that it was said. I don't know about rumored, but to me it's rumored because I didn't see it. The Arians came out and said something about Trask.
He has,
The only thing I've seen in an interview was with our new OC, which I cannot remember his fucking name for shit. Canales, thank you.
Dave Canales. No, he said flat out. He said, Bruce Arians, quote, we have that Trask is the best quarterback in the NFC South. Okay. And Todd Bowles, when they asked Todd Bowles about it at the combine, Todd Bowles goes, "We have no idea whether what he is. We don't know." I mean, and I believe
sure
Todd
Stevie
Bowles
has
said,
his own opinion about what Todd Bowles has to think.
Well, Todd Bowles did say, well, we've seen him run the what do you call it? The
Practice squad or
no, the other team, like mock the other quarterback in practice.
Scout.
Yeah, the scout team. We've seen him run the scout team. Which
that's his job. That's what he's done all his career. I don't have a problem with Trask. I don't either. I'm not a diehard. Okay, we're gonna go. I want to see the man on the field because that's a number 2 pick, and that's somebody we could have got a really high, a great player for, and that's a body that's not on the field right now.
I want to see him be a backup. Let's find out what he can do. He'll probably end up getting playing time because most quarterbacks hold the ball long enough to actually take a hit or two and get hurt, and they're out for a game or two.
Or pissed at Brady because Brady came back and took that year off from Trask, so that shortened Trask's what we can see from Trask.
I agree.
I mean? It's limited that time that we're going to be able to make a decision. We're going to be in a spot where like Danny Jones and friggin' New York, except they did get to see him.
But they're treating this like Jordan Love, and I'm okay. I would be okay with that if they had somebody else treat him like Jordan Love and see what he's doing in practice, and you can work him in that way. You can get him time during the preseason, where he gets a lot of time in preseason versus.
Evidently they've seen enough of Jordan Love to say we'll eat that $58 million for Rodgers to get rid of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. I mean, but this is my point. Now, we need to have that time, and it's okay. Listen, I remember the days when you let your quarterback sit for 2-3 years. I'm okay with that.
Sat for a year.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay. So it should be
right. So he sat for 2 years. That's not a tragedy, okay? If he sits for a third, okay. But oh my God, Johnny, you sat in on shows with me and heard everybody flipping, clamoring for Josh Rosen.
That shit was so hilarious.
Hey, he was the number 1 pick.
10th overall.
It's got to be good.
10th overall. And whenever I mentioned so was Blaine Gabbert, 10th overall, it was like, that's different.
That would be the first round pick as well.
Y'all heard about the Robert Woods deal that just came through?
Yes.
What's that? What's that?
Oh my, how a difference a year can make. Last year, he was traded from the Rams to the Titans for a 6th round pick, and he was released by the Titans last month. Now he's got a 2-year, $15.25 million deal with $10 million guaranteed. That's why the Texans are the Texans.
Well, yeah, the Texans just find ways to.
It's what does he? Man, they drafted so well last year, and now they're going to do something like that. What the hell? $10 million guaranteed for Woods?
Is Levy gone?
Yeah, he was a scapegoat, man. That's why I gave him the FU with that last game.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. All the way out the door.
He built that defense. That defense, the Texans had it. They were in every game last year because of that defensive levies. But the offense, they just started putting it together with Damian Pierce and all that shit, man. And now they're going for Woods. What in the hell?
I just don't ever just look at the Texans and laugh. They got cool colors, cool uniforms. Good for them. Next. I mean, that's really all you get with the Texans, I
kind of looked at them as like maybe they're going to be the Lions of this. Nope, not this year.
Yeah. No. How about the Lions, though? How about the Lions?
You got to be feeling pretty good if you're Jared Goff, huh?
And let me tell you something. Yes, absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
He's finally earned that contract.
Yep. Oh, by the way, we didn't bring this guy up, and thank you, Bucs Skull Gang. Heard that the Bucs like
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
I like Hendon Hooker. He's a project, but I like him.
Well, he's got to get healthy, and that would be I would be okay drafting him in the 2nd round. Third round if you don't get Jimmy G. If you get a Jimmy G, if you get a free agent quarterback that can maybe play in the future, you don't draft this guy. Unless you want to have Trask as number 2 and Hendon Hooker at 3, and then you don't really get to see what he can do.
You wouldn't want to do that. I mean, it's if you draft Hooker in the second round, you're basically admitting that Trask wasn't your guy.
You're going to have to draft a quarterback somewhere. I was more along the lines of around the 5th or 4th or 5th, actually 5th or 6th, with somebody like Stetson Bennett and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. And boy, Todd, if Todd from Winter Park is still out there, he's all lathered up because you said that. He loves him some Stetson Bennett.
Well, that's the name that everybody throws around for that range. You know, 4th, 5th, 6th.
25-year-old Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
He's as old as Lamar Jackson almost.
Hey, he's the next Ryan Griffin, okay?
Well, I can see the interview. I can see the interview with the backup quarterback. But are you a good wingman when the quarterback gets drunk? So anyway, so question, Coach.
Yep.
As you look when you look at this offense and you hear about it's going to be a horizontal type of offense, not a vertical offense, right? They're going to really spread the field. They're going to work horizontally a lot with this. When you have somebody like, to me, that speaks speed. Mike Evans, who my grandmother has better hamstrings than him. Okay. Does he fit into that type of offense?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure he's going to have special stuff designed just for him. And you always want to have 1 or 2 deep routes in your playbook on certain plays. But the idea is, even if, for the sake of argument, you're with a simple just a out route from your number 2 and then a go route from your number 1. If they bite on number 1, then the number 2's open. If they bite on number 2, then number 1's open. It's that kind of mishmash you're kind of looking for. I think that's kind of the marker where they're going. Also, you got your crossing routes. Mike Evans can sign on a crossing route.
He's fantastic on a crossing route. You've got comebacks as well. You've got hitches. He's very good on a hitch too. So it's not completely out there, but I'm sure that he's not going to go, oh, I've got this really good one of the best wide receivers in the last decade, and I'm just not going to use him. I'm sure he's going to find ways to use him.
You mean like last year? As far as hamstrings go, take into account how often Mike Evans is running down that field. He is one of those top receivers that's on the field a lot. When he's playing, he is on the field every down, and he's used as a decoy so fucking much. Excuse me, so much.
Oh, now you're saying excuse me? The 12 other times you said nothing about the 12 other times, but now he's I'm sorry. Really? Really? That's like Warren Sapp. That's like Warren Sapp on his 6th snooker going, oh, I guess I should behave.
The guy's running 4 miles on that field every game, okay? You're going to get some hammies, especially when you're just a damn decoy.
And he's only had soft tissue injuries so far, so that's pretty darn good.
He hasn't had no major injuries, and he's good. Just hydrate him more.
He just likes to be rubbed down with the masseuse. Gets rubbed down a little bit.
Let's don't go Dak Prescott on us now.
No, not or Deshaun Watson. Let's not go there.
Oh yeah,
but you know, every time he takes a hit, he's shook up for about 5 minutes.
Every time he catches a pass, or I'm sorry. Every time he's targeted, he limps away, and he's holding. You know, he's hurt every play.
He just wants some attention. He just wants a bit of love.
Poor guy doesn't get enough love. Really?
Must have a lot of soccer people in his family.
Someone I'm working on.
Did you hear what Dave said? Did you hear what Dave said? You'll appreciate this.
A lot of soccer people in his family.
A lot of soccer people. Oh man. Well, guys, we've been going. I've had this show going for 2 hours, so I'm going to call it a night. Okay, Johnny. You go first. Where do they find you, brother?
They don't find me nowhere no more. I got NFL Edition runs on Thursday nights at 9 p.m., but I
That's where
have
they find you.
retired.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Then it was.
Well, I'm
very
still
special.
hanging around like some kind of moss, but you know.
Okay. So you'll still come on our show from time to time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, excellent. Slick.
You can catch
Where
me
do
on
they
the
find you?
Aftermath, which is on 9:30 p.m. on Monday, and we're going to be doing this extra show on the Wednesday, so a little bit of extra edition on that one for the League New Year.
That's not
Just here,
Bucs
we've got Carter Brantley will be joining us in the most recent, the next episode.
Excellent.
Carter.
Excellent. I want to thank you guys. All right. You all have a wonderful night. I appreciate you, and we'll have you back.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank
yeah,
you,
go
guys.
Bucs, baby.
Go Bucs. All right. So, Dave,
Yes.
this was a fun night. Lots
Very
of breaking
unexpected.
news.
Very enjoyable.
Yes, it was. It was very unexpected, but like the news just came pouring out today.
We had
we'll
rabbit
see.
hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole.
Yeah, we'll see what happens as far as Tuesday night show. We'll play that by ear, and we'll see how that goes. But I think a lot of news is going to be breaking between now and then. So we'll just play it by ear and figure. We'll navigate through these next few days as it goes, because I think it's going to be an interesting few days. I really do.
Surprises are coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got anything you want to add?
It's March 10th. It's a long time between now and September 7th. Enjoy the off season. Don't panic, because Jason Light isn't panicking, and neither are the executives at One Buck Place.
Nice.
So let's just see how it unfolds. We were gasping for air 3 weeks ago, and now look where we're at.
3 days ago.
3 days ago. So it's just like, it's the official season is on the horizon, and just let it ride. Don't panic and enjoy.
Sounded like Aaron Rodgers. Relax.
I didn't say go into like a hermetically sealed room with no light for 5 days or whatever it was. I didn't say that. I just said enjoy yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, I'm excited. I am excited because we went from a year that looked like, all right, guys, we're paying the price, to all of a sudden now we're looking at it going, ooh, this could get interesting. This could get fun. There's possibilities that have opened. We went from to ooh, and that's kind of cool. So
things that make you go,
All right, guys, thanks for being here. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.